entrepreneur that's interested in using some of the designs or developing circular economy solutions, what do I need to succeed? And I think that the design component is only one of it, one piece of the puzzle. It's around the kind of the capital for the equipment, the links to market, as Matteo talks about, absolutely crucial. So I think that it's about having real intentionality about what the platform can and cannot do, and whether it be sufficient to solve the problem for the entrepreneur. Then with the platform itself, maybe to build on what Matteo's mentioned, we tend to find that in market matching platforms that the cost of customer acquisition can be quite high to attract people onto the platform. And that has implications for the business model. How does it wash its own hands? How do you keep the app or the platform running is a kind of critical thing to think about. And then the other piece of the puzzle, which is linked to what the platform can and cannot do, is we find quite often with market-based platforms, if you think of, say, a labour market platform where you might want to recruit a cleaner for your house, these often struggle because there isn't an incentive to stay on the platform. Once that initial connection is made, it's easier for you to have the dialogue through other channels. So again, it's linking into, is this just kind of a matchmaking platform, or would it go further where you might use the platform for project teams to directly collaborate online? So these are some of the things that I'd just be really curious to hear about your reflections and how you were thinking about some of these dimensions.
Yeah, I mean, they're all really, really good points. And I think given the speed of developing the idea, we probably haven't touched on those, but I'm thinking about them as we speak. I think, some of the kind of long-term sustainability of the project could potentially come around IP share and IP donation for use of the site, for the connections. So, what we're dealing with here is students on sweat equity, basically championing their learning, enhancing their learning, but getting a share of a company through the amount of input they put in. We run some incubation programs at Falmouth. I don't see this project as a Falmouth-centric model. So initially, I would see us testing it as a kind of proof of concept with Falmouth, because we can wrap that around and make it manageable, and then scale to ambitiously to maybe work with the British Council to look at partners in countries. And then the third step would really be turning on online education and saying, okay, it's a bit like IDU Open, but what we're talking about here is come and study for your degree on real climate emergency challenges connected to company entrepreneurs and investment. And that's the long-term ambition, I think. I think how do you keep people there? I think it has to be a two-way flow in terms of the entrepreneur will probably have, let's say, 5 ideas. And like you say, once they've got them done, they may be quite happy. I had only originally thought about it in terms of design. So it's a really important point you made around, the business aspects, potentially the science aspects. I don't think that we would discount those. I think, transdisciplinarity in the teams and greater transdisciplinarity would be fantastic. How we do that at the moment, I don't know. I think that's something that we'd need to have conversations with other science-based institutes with. Yeah, sorry, I'm losing the thread now, so I'll let you. I'll come back to you. Yeah, any kind of.
Diana, do you want to respond as well?
Yeah, I guess Raman summed it up basically. We did think about the platform, but we just haven't thought about how exactly we want the platform to work. It definitely could be a subscription kind of basis, for example, where it could be further developed to be a project management sort of platform as well, where after we have matchmake the talents to the organizations, they can then manage their project through the platform. But like Drummond said, we just haven't thought about that, or haven't gotten to that extent yet.
Yeah, Matteo, Malcolm, we have about 4 minutes left, and I wonder what happens next in a kind of situation. Is there conceptualization at such a primary level, or as kind of an initial level, that it really requires much more before it can be pitched successfully at the next stage? I mean, how does this actually operate? Matteo, do you want to? We have about 4 minutes.
I actually am going to build on your question, Sharad, and try to understand also what is the fate of the core Ripple project. I mean, is that something that you're still developing with these precious plastic machines? And because there is an opportunity there to also, again, connect demand and supply, right? Especially for plastic waste. How do you, I'm just making up the case. A university building might have benches, might have furniture, might have bins, and those things, those are objects that the maintenance team would actually buy. How about connecting them with someone like Biji-Biji, where those products are manufactured with waste material streams like hard to recycle plastic or plastic in general? So, I mean, what I'm saying is that I see a potential there to create an embryonic marketplace to solve at least the problem, or to address partially the problem of plastic waste. I was just wondering if that was a prototype, or is something that you plan to develop. What is the fate of that original project plan?
Shall I come in first, Matteo, and then hand over to Juliana? I mean, yesterday we ran our first pitch to Juliana and Rashvin from our 48 students on this project, pitching their initial ideas. That's a one-day design sprint. They're working that up today with kind of final ideas. The ideas were amazing in terms of breadth. We had infrastructure projects looking around pipe work, roof tiles. We had the social issues around sharps bins, chewing gum. We had cultural issues around festivals. We had fashion-based issues around sunglasses, bags. And I think that's the joy of a platform like this, is how broad the idea base can be really quickly. So I'm really hopeful for Ripple in that our next phase is to build some of the precious plastic machines at site on Falmouth. We start to test, mold some of those products for viability and fine tune them, and then send digital files to Juliana and Rashvin to help train some of their indigenous kind of groups that they work with, and then look for distribution markets. So we're on a roadmap to kind of September time. And we really want to champion those ideas at COP26 and showcase what youth can bring to the table.
Okay, very quickly, we're going to be rudely teleported back into the room. So but we'll just continue speaking until we can. Malcolm, I see you want to say, yes, Malcolm? Did you want to jump in?
Yeah, I think just in terms of your challenge was where do we go from here? I think that with the partnership between Falmouth and Biji-Biji, you've got a fantastic platform, and I would say maybe the ask is not about how do we build this as a technological solution, but you use the next 6 months or so of your partnership and the resources for that to test offline through the partnership that you've got. What can be done digitally and what it looks like, and you might find that your vision for the Ecovator chain is it might just become an open source repository of different design solutions rather than a matching platform. So through the partnership that you've got and the work that you're doing is use that to figure out, what is the right technological solution to enable this collaboration to flourish. And then a final point as well is in that period, I would have an eye on the scale puzzle. Everybody's mentioned partnerships. Juliana, you're plugged in with the makerspace movement. I think that whether it's design beyond borders in Africa, or some of the makerspace or some of the accelerators that are interested in this, that could kind of just bring in a little bit more of the business acumen or some of the routes to market, and or be a host, be someone that can kind of use whatever that you produce from this process within their own objectives. This is something that I would encourage you to explore over the next few months as well.
Juliana, we have a little more time. Juliana, do you have questions that you want to ask Matteo, Malcolm, to help you in this process? Is there something that you'd like to ask?
Being put on the spot, I can't think now. Nothing specific that comes to mind. But just building on that as well, like the Ripple project is going ahead. We are, like Drummond said, running the projects, the sessions with the students, building the machine, and we are going to be running the workshops with the communities. And further to that, just making these molds or these products that the students design, bringing it to life. That's where Biji-Biji will also be playing like a larger role as well to sell it to our usual clientele. So I guess like if there's anything to be developed on also like on the offline sort of way, is how do we further scale that part then to make sure that these products are actually available on a wider scale?
Yeah, and on that point, Juliana, one of the things that I actually mentioned while reading the project brief was make sure that you don't start producing with waste product that are going to become waste in, say, a week or a month. Mm-hmm. So try to find products where those waste streams can be captured for the long term. That is really important because I've seen a lot of other initiatives similar to what Biji-Biji is doing, where with waste streams, little knickknacks and little junkets are built, mm-hmm. and those junkets are used for a week, and then guess what? They come back as plastic, recyclable waste. So focus on the long-term, capturing long-term those material streams.
Yeah, really good points, Matteo and Malcolm. Thank you.
Are there any questions from the audience? We have an audience actually listening into this conversation. Danny, who's the rapporteur, I asked it. We have 10 seconds. So
very quickly. Speak quickly.
We're going to be teleported back to the mothership. So I guess maybe it's time to take a breath. And thank you so much for this. And Danny, you're okay, I'm guessing. You haven't said anything yet, but you have the onerous task of summarizing this intense conversation. Yeah.
Thank you all.
Okay, cheers.
Thank you, Malcolm. Thanks, Matthew.